Okay, thank you. Hello, everyone. Thank you all for coming. Let me see. How's everyone tonight? Does anyone have any questions? Yes, number 5.
I would like, excuse me, good evening, Master. I would like to repent for wearing a Kuan Yin necklace into the restroom and my recitation beads.
Okay, yeah. Avoid bringing the beads and images into the restroom. It's disrespectful. Okay, all right. Anyone else? Okay, very good then. We all have not creating any offenses except for Shannon. Very good. Okay, so I'm very happy to see that you all have been cultivating vigorously. That's important. This is what we do in our small way, in our small contribution. We cultivate. Everything is geared towards helping your cultivation, and especially our people have been stepping up, and I'm very pleased with that. We're getting busier and busier. You don't realize it, but to do a Fo Chi and a Chan Chi, these Chis are pretty big events. So we get a lot of obstructions ourselves. We are constantly under attack during the duration, before, during, and after. So it's a lot of work for us. It's very stressful for us, but that's what we do. The attacks are getting more and more intense as over the years, and so this year has been pretty intense. It's interesting, but it also makes me very happy to see that a lot of people have been stepping up. In particular, we need to work smarter, because as we take on more, we're doing more important stuff to try to help more people and make ourselves more available to others. So far, when we first started out, it's basically a very elite group where we screen people out because of the limited space availability and lack of manpower. And so we were very selective, and we only could service very few people. And then as time went by, more and more people became trained and became more skilled, to the point right now where it's outstanding. I look at all of you, both lay people and love home people. I'm very pleased, very proud of what we've done so far. And in particular, your spiritual attainment level is pretty remarkable. It's very, very fast. It's remarkable. Very proud of that. And so the work now is being expanded to include more people, to be more inclusive. And when that happens, we are under more and more stress, under more attack. And our people need to work smarter and more efficiently. So we have been training them to do that. In particular, in Korea, I need Master Z. I told him, I don't know he's doing that. I told him he needed to sleep at night. I need him to do to take care of some of the work, to offload us here in the U.S. And And so he better sleep at night so that he can carry out the tasks I assign him. Is he there? Has he been doing that? Has he been... Huh? Where is he? Conk or JMT? Seemed like JMT, huh? Okay. So he should take the assignment seriously, and in particular, I'm hoping that the Koreans and the people there, the Korean Sangha as well, Korean laity, who step up and help him take care of the stuff he's been doing, so that he can spend more time doing the spiritual assignments I'm giving him. I give him. Okay. All right. Now, for tonight, since there is no questions and comments, we continue studying Master YongHua's teachings. We're on slide 245. He's started talking about the states you experience, the states that you experience when you cultivate, whether it's reciting Buddha's name, the particular instance here, but that's these are the states that are described for any sort of Dharma door you practice. And it's called states because of these things. They're like infinite number of states. And he's going to continue to describe some of them. And the idea here is to be aware of them, just for the heck of it. And remember, when you practice, these states that you experience are temporary. And don't be alarmed, don't be excited either. And they're passing states, nothing to... just ignore them. Okay? Continue, please.
种种的这个境界不同，那么有的时候，你这个眼睛啊，不叫它长眼睛啊，它就长来长去的这个长眼。
Sometimes you don't want to blink your eyes, but your eyes will keep on blinking.
And that's usually because the qi flows through your eye muscles in that area, and that's why they're breaking through. So it's like this is like this back and forth, and that's why you have blinking of even involuntary blinking of the eyes, yeah. And it will clear out.
有的时候这个由手物主导的，这个手啊自然就动弹。
Sometimes your hands and foot would dance. Your hands would move on their own.
Okay, and this is also another precursor state to entering samadhi as well. You dance, you move, not just hands and foot, but also your body as well. There's a reason for it. I'm not going to explain it to you. And in particular, quite a few people, especially Koreans, they move a lot. They shake, and they have weird movements. And their teachers are concerned, and they didn't know what to do, so usually they are shunned. They feel something unusual, something bad. Actually, it's a pretty good state. And it happened, it's a natural process of your evolution. So typically the Koreans are at a loss. They didn't know what to do. Here as well, a lot of people didn't know what to do, and including our own disciples. I tried to tell them, and some of them dropped out because they were concerned that is too unusual. It's a test of your faith, you will. You don't believe my instructions, then tough luck, quit. It's okay. It's your life, your cultivation. And it's varying degrees of movements of the hands and eyes and the body and the head and so forth. In particular, for example, Xian Tong, our kitchen manager, when she was at Lu Mountain Temple, she used to shake a lot. And she, to the point where she would take her head and butt her head against the bronze statue. If you ever went to Lu Mountain Temple, there's a Medicine Master Buddha statue there, huge one, okay, made of bronze, very heavy, very hard. And she would take her head and bumped it against it, where actually it has very close to the eyes here, so it became black and blue. Okay, so it's a precursor to the fact later on I appointed her unofficially as a specialist for butting heads with all the undesirable elements. And so if you don't know her, you try wasting water and electricity, she will come and butt heads with you, guaranteed. Okay? Yeah. Okay, so we have a couple people here locally where Xian Tong will butt heads with anyone who dares violate her strict principles of no wasting stuff. Any sort of waste, she goes crazy. And the other one is Xian Shun, who's, when she gets afflicted, forget it, anything could happen. Okay, we all have to learn to live with it. And so will you. But that's normal for us, okay? And then hopefully Master Z will then be designated in the future as the enforcer, whatever it means. Okay? So that's why I need you Koreans to offload Master Z, okay? There's a lot of enforcing to be done. Okay, all right, continue.
在这个静坐念佛的时候，有的时候呢，这呼吸气就断了，呼吸气没有了，就好像死了一样。
During the silent recitation, sometimes your breath would stop, as if you were dead.
Okay, enter samadhi. Next.
有的时候这脉搏也停了，这个脉呀也停了。
Sometimes your pulse would stop.
Okay, another type of samadhi.
有的时候你打坐的时候，静坐着念佛的时候，你这条梨钻到喉咙里去。
Sometimes, during silent recitation, your qi will go inside of your throat.
I don't know what it means. Anyone has any clues? You Chinese people? You know what it means? I have no idea what he's talking about. Okay, continue.
它就好像一只老鼠似的，往回转，钻到喉咙里，这时候这气也停止了。
It is like a mouse going backwards inside of your throat. At that moment, the qi would stop.
Never experienced this before. Good luck to you. If it happens to you, you're on your own.
可是啊，你外面的气停止了，内呼吸呀，它活了，所以也不会死的。
Although your external qi stops, your internal breath activates, so you will not die.
Thank you, Lord.
那么，当你过了一个时期，这条梨呀，它又慢慢又出来了，又回来了。
After a while, inside, it will come back again slowly.
所以你不要怕，有什么境界也不要怕，不要怕说哦，这会不会呀着魔呢？啊，这你不要担这个心，你。
So don't be afraid regardless of the states. Don't be afraid. Would I enter demonic states? You don't need to worry about that.
你不担心呢，没有忧愁，他什么魔也进不来。你要一忧愁，那个魔呀就来了。
If you're not worried, no demon can come in. Once you're worried, the demon will come.
所以呀，你这个性要定，性定魔服朝朝乐。
So your nature must be settled. When the nature is settled and demons subdued, every morning is joyful.
Okay, it's what he's referring to is the nature settle. What happens when you do these practices? The responses you're going to get is that you become more at peace yourself internally. Your mind is at peace. So that's what he's referring to. Your nature is settled. Okay? It's an external manifestation that you feel at peace. People around you sense that you're at peace. You're peaceful. You feel peaceful when you're around. Okay, that's a natural occurrence. And when that happens, you have some kung fu, and therefore the demons are more respectful of you. And actually, this when they refer to the 心定某福 Chao Chao Le. So he says, when you're in samadhi, okay, it's not the nature settle. When this nature is in samadhi, so that when nature is in samadhi, and the demon is subdued. Okay, and Chao Chao Le. So every morning is joy. Okay, you can. Do we need to change it? It's not a big deal. Okay, Xing Ding is that your Buddha nature when it is in samadhi, which is correct. This is technically it's the precise teaching. However, as far as you are concerned, as far as the practitioners are concerned, basically it means that when you enter samadhi, okay, and technically, actually, don't get a big head. Just because you enter samadhi doesn't mean that the demons will be subdued. Okay? It refers to when enlightened people are in samadhi. That's when they are able to subdue the demons. But also, in fact, it's not true for all of them. So, for example, when you enlighten, there are different levels of enlightenment. So, low-level enlightenments, basically, demons are unimpressed. Okay, yeah. So that's why the first ground, second ground, so forth. Yeah. Third ground, the demons are not going to be that impressed with you. But you get a little bit higher, the fourth ground, like in Korea, they have Sungcho Sunim, who is a fourth ground. He's very, very famous, well respected, and other Sunims as well. So they have the ability to put pressure on the demons, if you will. Okay, and that's when you begin to be able to put pressure on the demons, and that's why the way places, the places where they stay, are more pacified, more peaceful. Okay, and that's why once that happens, they can basically begin to defend the territory. Okay, does it make sense? Once they were able to do that, it's very difficult for the demons to misbehave or other teachers to try to come in. And that's why Korean peninsula, that South Korea, is very difficult for the Buddhist teachers to penetrate. Very, very difficult. Historically, they tried. They could not get in. They sneak in a few, here and there, but in terms of their major armies, it's not possible. Because the Sunims there are pretty strong, very, very strong. Okay. When I first came to Korea a few years ago, I only met with the junior Sunims, and they said, we are Korean, and we have this history, this tradition of studying from the outside and bring it back to Korea and make it Korean. Okay, and they're very proud of it. He talked about it, and he's a guest prefect, meaning it's a rather big temple, and he's a guest prefect. Meaning that he met a lot of monks and nuns, and especially visitors who come to the temple. So he talked about that, and I was totally unimpressed with him because he's basically an idiot. Okay, but he has such an arrogant attitude. Okay? So for such people, they cannot defend their own temples. Okay. And so, but later, these later trips here, the more recent trips, the last 2 or 3 trips, I got to meet some pretty good Sunims, and I realized why Korean Buddhism is so strong, and because they have samadhi power, and that's why. When they're in samadhi, when the nature in samadhi, the demons are subdued, so the demons will behave themselves. Okay, and that's the first thing right there. So that's why their disciples are protected. Okay, when you practice, you need protection. Without protection, good luck. Okay, you don't have a prayer or a chance. So for example, just between us, don't quote me. So for example, the Thai people, the Thai Buddhism is the strongest in the Theravada or Hinayana. I call it Hinayana because they really are Hinayana. Or preferably now people want to be known as Theravada, which is nonsense. Anyway, what do I know? So the Thai Buddhism is so strong because they have strong support and faith from the royalties and sponsorship from them. Okay, but more importantly, they have a very strong structure of training the people. They perfected the training, their style, but Still, what is not known is actually we send from outside. Mahayana send bodhisattvas there and pass as arhats to them. To the rest of them, they're just arhats. Okay? But without these bodhisattvas to protect them, they don't have a chance. They cannot defend themselves. Okay? Because the demons can run circles around arhats. Shh. Don't quote me. Okay? I just have a big mouth. That's my problem. I like to talk. That's all I do. Okay? And you notice. You cultivate, I talk. Okay? And so that's why they are pretty strong. Yeah, the structure is pretty strong. Okay? And as a typical in such organizations, the bodhisattvas don't show up. They don't know. They don't make noises. Okay, they don't talk. Okay, the same thing. For example, so that's why it's pretty strong. Historically, you see, they're very, very strong, generation after generation after generations. And the other example is, for example, Tibetan Buddhism. Okay, they also pretty strong because they got some support. Okay, without it, there's no way they can defend themselves. Okay, but the real strength is in Chinese Buddhism, where you have these tons of Mahasattvas. All we need is to send some bodhisattvas to Thailand, send bodhisattvas to help the Tibetans out so that they can survive. Okay, but in order for us to sustain our growth and penetrate and propagate ourselves, the Chinese side is where you find the great teachers. Okay, it used to be the case. Okay, and then now it's in the U.S. You will not find great teachers in China anymore. You will find them in the U.S. Right? And in order for that to happen, in order for you to be able to get to higher levels of samadhis, you need protection. Okay, so without protection, there's no way that the other systems can get up there. Okay, so what happened is that in Chinese Buddhism, they have this methodology like the Weiyang lineages, like Linji lineages. Linji is like mid-level. They don't go very high. I think maybe 3/4 of the way maximum. Like what's his name? Xu Yun, for example. It's 3/4 of the way. Okay, and then he's stuck. Okay, yeah. You can tell. These people, they close their eyes. Good Lord. It's not normal for you to sit and close your eyes. Okay? I find it abhorrent. But anyway, so the Mahayana has a technology to train, whether it's Pure Land, whether it's Chan, whether it's secret school, and so forth. So they have the technology to train. However, without what's not spoken is that without the protection, there's no way you can make it. So for example, the people agree and they try to steal, for example, our mantras. They said Shranga mantra, forward to hands and eyes, and so forth, and they steal it from the materials that people, nasty people put online and so forth. You can cultivate all you want, practice all you want. You're not going to get very far. In fact, you tend to get in trouble. If you practice vigorously, you will get in trouble. Okay, that's natural. And so for example, Master Xinhua disciples, they have the transmission of that on that side there of the hands and eyes. Our side have our own transmission. It's different systems altogether. For example, okay, I would not allow them people up there to come over here. They're not allowed. Okay, we train our people. They have their own system. We have our system, so that you know. Okay, but typically, if those people come, they come here, they're not allowed to practice with you. Okay, because we're not here to train them. Okay, it's Master Xuanhua's problems, not our problems. Okay, and so without protection, forget it. You're not gonna make it. Okay. Yes, 6. Thank you.
Thank you, Master. So how do we increase our protection when we want to increase our samadhi level?
I hope you find a good teacher who can protect you. This is unspoken. And the more I talk to you, the more I open my mouth, the quickly I run out of things to talk about. So I keep on having to crank it up and tell you more and more than I really want to. Is that because as soon as I tell you, someone asks a question, how do I get better protection? And the system in Mahayana is follow your good no advisor. What you have right now is pretty remarkable, but without continued protection, it ain't gonna happen. You will not. You find it very hard to continue to make rapid progress. Okay, and for some reason, I don't know why this the Chinese side of Mahayana that Master Xuanhua transmitted, it's not emphasized. On our side, I don't care what you say. I'm always looking for a good no advisor. And I'm telling you, as soon as I find one, I will drop you. And I say, goodbye. I have work to do. I have better things to do with my life. Very similarly, like Shariputra and Mahamoggaliyana, they like hot shots, have 250 disciples their own. And as soon as they find out about the Buddha, and they say, okay, hey, you're on your own. Either I'm going to go over there and study from under the master, from the Buddha. Okay? And that has always been our spirit. Our approach has always been like that. And now the Vietnamese and the Chinese and the Koreans, even that, it's diluted. They lost it. Even the Hinayana, Mahayana people, they have lost it as well. They think like we're the best. Hell no. There's so many people much better than us. But it's just that we're not good enough. That's why they don't bother teaching us, honestly. Okay? Yeah, it's too low. Why should I waste my time talking to you? Yes, 8.
Master, for the hands and eyes, can they recite the mantra without doing the hand gesture? Like when they're driving or walking? People are asking that question. But when they're sitting, of course they'll do it. But when they're walking or they're doing something and they just need to recite something, can they just recite without doing it?
Yeah, they can. They can, but it's best that they use they do as they're taught. It's okay. But the main thing is do not use them. Don't get in trouble. You use them, you get in trouble, I'm not gonna help you because I warn you. Okay? You get greedy and you do those things, you use them without permission. They're transmitted to you for your training, for future reference. Okay? And you don't want to use them yet until you're authorized to use them. Maybe use them prematurely. Chances are that you will abuse them. You have no wisdom yet to use them. Okay, and this is the difference between us. In the mantras we practice, you don't have the wisdom to use them properly. That's why don't use them. Don't. You're going to get in trouble. It's designed for bigger purposes than trying to impress you or trying to get money out of you. Okay? It's for your own wisdom development and for your own development as an asset to society later on. Okay? So don't use them. Maybe use them, and I know some people won't listen to me and say, "Oh, this is so great! I got the transmission. I'm going to try this. I'm going to try that." And when you do that, you're stopping yourself from making progress. So you're going for such small things, such small benefits. We transmitted these things for you, to you. It's for the big prize. Don't go for the small, scratch things, go for the big lotto thing. It's 1.2 billion nowadays. I'm getting excited too myself. Yes, sir.
Thank you, Master. Apologies if this is asking more questions about something that you don't want to talk about. But I feel like this is the moment to ask for future reference. When you mention that people can get into trouble if they haven't received transmission and they practice mantras, what kind of trouble can they get into?
Oh, they find out. All sorts of troubles. And they'll find out. And they come to me and they say, and I say, okay, good luck to you. I told you so. Don't use it. You don't know how to use them. And you use them improperly, incorrectly, you're going to get in trouble. In particular, using them carries involves some recoil. Okay? Yeah. So that's why you don't want to use them until you have some wisdom. All right, Conk, go ahead.
Hello, Master. This question is from Layu. 이거는 김윤정 씨의 질문입니다. 불칠 덕분에 아침마다 한국에서 저희 아이도 아름다운 아미타불 연부를 듣고 따라하고 있습니다. 멋진 예불에 감사드립니다. Thanks to the Fochi, my son also recite the Amitabha's Buddha's name together every morning. So thank you so much for great ceremonies. Question number 1. 첫 번째 질문은 대회양의 내용을 보면 무생인을 증득하면 정토를 떠나지 않고 사바세계에 갈 수 있다라는 구절이 나오는데 여기서 무생인은 무엇인가요? According to the correct transference, if you attain the non-production of dharmas, you can go to Sa world without leaving the Pure Land. What does it mean by non-production of dharma? 두 번째 질문. There's another question. 우리는 정토에 가도 현생의 기억을 잊지 않나요? The second question is, when we go to Pure Land, we don't lose any memories of the current life. 이 질문들을 드리는 이유는 저희 아이가 저에게 자꾸 질문을 하는데 제가 답을 할 수가 없어서 그렇습니다. 그래서 마스터께 여쭤봅니다. The reason why I ask these questions because my son keep asking these questions. I cannot answer him. So please, Master, help me.
Second question is, when you go to the Pure Land, do you lose memory? Do you forget about this current life?
Oh, sorry. It says when we go to Pure Land, do we not lose any memories from current life?
Okay. Usually when you go to the Pure Land, is you change the bodies and therefore you start anew again. So you don't remember. But once you get there, you cultivate and you eventually regain knowledge. Okay. And as far as the first question is concerned, what was the first question again?
If you attain the non-production of Dharma, you can go to Sa world without leaving Pure Land.
Oh, good Lord. I'm not sure I want to answer this. Because can we say, I don't know?
Master, FYI for your audience, hello.
Yeah.
This is question from 11-year-old boy in Korea.
I recently talked to a 74-year-old lady. And she says, I met a lot of big monks from all over the world that came to her houses, and she would take care of them, 30, 40 of them, or their group and so forth, and they taught Dharma at her house and so forth. She's been doing that for decades now. And she said, so I asked her, who do you remember? Who do you admire? And she said, oh, I met this nun here. I said, and that's pretty good. I said, And so we look at her picture and say, oh, so that's a fourth stage Arhat. Who else do you like? And she says, so. She lists out all these names like Jing Gong and, the Pure Land people, Jing Gong and all those people. And she said, once there's a monk here from Taiwan, I think, and he came and he's very eloquent. He's trying to explain to her the production, the patience and the non-production of dharmas. And he was so eloquent. She says, I don't understand what you're telling me, but it sounds so good. So let me invite a lot of people to come and listen to your explanation. And I didn't want to make any commentary. Yeah. Because if you understand the patience and non-production of dharmas, it's nothing to explain. The patience and non-production of Dharma is something that you'll be taught how to get there, then you understand what it is. It cannot be described. It's not meant to be described. It's not meant to be explained. Okay? So in Buddhism, this is one of the things that separate the men from the boys. The boys talk about it. Okay, they're so excited. Oh, this is such a cool thing. The patient non-production of Dharma and so forth. And the rumor has it, the fourth stage Arhat. All the people say it's an 8th ground Bodhisattva. I've been to Taiwan. I think that monk is from Taiwan. And I'm in Taiwan, and too many people talked about it, and they quoted the great wisdom shastra and so forth, and people talk big about it, and they impressed a lot of donors, and that's why the donors came to the temple and said, this master dares explain about the patience of non-production of the dharmas, 无胜法忍. Okay, in Chinese, and that's why very few people dare explain that. And that's why the donors flock to the temples and offer food, offer money, and offer clothes, offer all sorts of financial support and admiration. Whereas, so that's one group of what I call the boys. They like to talk about it because it's exciting. It's such a fantastic concept. you know. But the big boys, they don't talk about it. Okay, and like in Master YongHua, you'll be hard pressed to find any of his disciples who made it ever talk about it. And that's why I observe. I listen to them. I listen to the nuns. I listen to the monks. I listen to those who didn't make it. Okay, those are the ones who talked about it. The one who are fourth stage Arhat or higher, they don't talk about it. I talk about it, so you notice I'm like the boys' side. Okay. And so it's not just that, it's just that the confusion of these people, when they talk about it, it's hilarious, okay? And I don't know why the men don't talk about it, okay? And in particular, what bothers me is that they don't talk about it, nor do they try to help you get there themselves. It's weird. If you don't talk about it, then you're supposed to help people get there so that they know themselves. So as far as the patient non-production of Dharma, it's a wonderful state that only the Buddhist technology will help you get there. That's fact number one. Fact number two, once you're there, you don't talk about it. Fact number three, it's because of the name, it's not clearly stated, and therefore it's not meant for you to understand, to be explained to you. And that's why all those people who try to explain it, they say they're fourth stage art, they say it's eighth ground bodhisattva and so forth. They don't know what they're talking about. Okay, and therefore, this is something, the answer to the first question is that I can't explain it to you, number one, because I'm a boy, okay? Number two, the way if you want to understand, you can go to the Pure Land yourself, and Amitabha Buddha will explain it to you. I'm no Buddha, that's why I can't explain it to you. Or you can continue to practice here, tell the Laios boy to continue to recite the Buddha's name until one day he will experience that. Reciting Buddha's name will bring you to that state. Okay, and then you understand what it is, what it's referring to, and then eventually, as you continue to practice, then someday you understand why. The description says you can what is it? You can be in not leave the Pure Land and yet be able. Okay, it's a state of bodhisattvas. You bodhisattva, you know what it's about. If you're not, explaining it to you is worthless, it's useless, okay? It's only for commercial reasons. I mean, it's for the sake of soliciting donation and support from you. Then that's why I would try to explain it to you. Okay, but I'm glad that it's a great thing, it's a great practice to get your children involved. I love it when I hear that the parents are somehow manage to find a way to get the children to recite the Buddha's name, to recite mantras, to bow and so forth. You don't know how much good it would do to your children. Okay, the exposure is priceless. Okay, and I wish that more and more adults would just manage to do that at home, bring them to the temple, make them bow to the Buddha and so forth. It's tremendously helpful, and plant this concept in their mind that there's something called samadhi, something called goodness. Okay. That's very important for them. Okay. All right. And when you talk about Pure Land Buddhism, then also very important for people to realize that the Buddhists have knowledge about the future lives. We have pretty extensive knowledge about future lives, so that's why we plan for our future. That's through Pure Land Buddhism. That's one very effective way to do that. Okay, and therefore it's a real advantage for the people, for those who know, who heard about this, over the rest of the world, where most people think that, you go with God, or after you die, you return to the dust and nothing matters anymore. It's all nonsense. Okay, after you die, there's some consequences, and there's some continuation of this life, if you will, a different form, different format, and so forth. And that's the exclusive province of the Buddhists who are trained and who know. And it's really a great gift you bestow upon others, especially your family, your children. If they are aware that there's some consequences. Okay? If you create good karmas, your future will be good. You create bad karmas, you will pay for it later. Okay? And in particular, when it comes down to Pure Land Buddhism, I will tell you, hands down, Pure Land Buddhism is by far the best way for you to plan for your future lives. Okay, for example, for some reason this morning I was meditating, I was doing my work, and then I said, what happened to Jing Kung? Anyone ever wondered? Yeah, spy number 2.
I just raising my hand because I do wonder.
You do wonder?
Yes.
You're very curious by nature. Yes, sir. The pale-faced person.
Thank you, Master. Just to clarify, you asked what happened to Master Ching Kung?
Yeah.
I heard that he passed away.
Very good. I didn't realize you kept up with the Taiwanese news. You know what I meant is that, where did he go?
Oh, thank you for clarifying, Master.
So pale face. Typical pale face people. Yeah?
I heard that he went to the Pure Land.
That's why I was wondering. He's a great Asian Pure Land teacher, right? He taught so many Asians throughout the world. Couldn't get into Korea, but the Koreans are too tough. But he taught so many people, and he died. And you wonder where he went, huh? So I never bothered because I don't have time to worry about such things. But this morning I was meditating, and I said that this Aaron thought came and said, "Where did he go?" I sort of felt guilty that it was was it 2, 3 in the morning? I wasn't planning to go to the morning ceremonies. I said, I feel bad. What would the people think that Master is so lazy? But anyway, so since this is a 4G, so I said, what happened to Jing Kung? He's been teaching Pure Land Buddhism and helping a lot of people. Yes.
And in solidarity with my Vietnamese Dharma family, I should mention my source is the Vietnamese sisters who first recommended I visit Lu Mountain Temple.
Which one is that?
They work at, this is not a commercial endorsement, but they work at Cali Nails. They own Cali Nails in Burbank, California. And that's how I found out about Lu Mountain Temple, because they handed me a Vietnamese newspaper with a picture.
What were you doing in a nail spa? Sorry.
I'm so glad you asked, Master. Yeah, it's because I played so many sports, I developed ingrown toenails, and so I had to find a way to have them removed. And it turns out that Vietnamese nail salons are #1 for that service.
I see. Okay. Yeah. Sorry, I asked.
But just to let you know, they were active disciples of Master Chin Kung, so they informed me of his status.
I see. So you still go there?
I still go to Cali Nails, yes.
In Burbank?
In Burbank, yeah. Cali
You live
Nails
in Pasadena. You drive here to Rosemead, and then you go to Burbank for foot massage.
It is indeed that good. Yeah, it's worth the trip.
Okay. So again, please, I have a big mouth, so whatever I say, ignore it, okay? Take it with a grain of salt, okay? For this morning, I said, what happened to him? Where did he go? So I looked. I'm not going to tell you. Because one day I don't know you remember one night I was open my big mouth and said, this guy is really teaching a wrong kind of Pure Land Buddhism. So I would be, if Amitabha Buddha asked for my vote, I would vote that no, he cannot go to the Pure Land, because he's doing more harm to me with Pure Land Buddhism than helping. To me, personally. Yeah. Again, yeah, it's just my personal opinion. So I forgot about that too until this morning. I said, what happened? Yeah. And so I took a look. He's not there. That's all I can tell you. It's not there. Third stage arhats, they don't have control over their destinies. They can't just go to the Pure Land as they wish. It doesn't work like that. So instead of trying to teach people, you should have taken care of himself. Yes, 9.
Master, I would like to share a few things about Venerable Jin Kung. First,
of course.
I have to, Master, you taught us to be grateful. And before I knew me, I think I knew it at the same time. Before I knew you, my first exposure was the other temple. They told me that when you get to Pure Land, you still have to work. So then that's my first exposure. And then I listened to Venerable Jin Kung for like a year, a lot. So he said you should make reciting Amitabha Buddha the #1 important thing of your life. And I thought it was a great idea. So I made that vow. And then because of him, eventually something happened. I recite Amitabha Buddha for a week, I decided. And then I end up taking refuge with you because something else happened, causing that happen also. So I'm really thankful for him. But something also interesting happened. I used to be able to listen to a lot of his talk at the beginning, first 2 years, very interesting. But then I kind of stopped listening for whatever reason, I don't know. But
happens to a lot of people. He lectured extensively on a lot of sutras, including the Avatamsaka Sutra. Okay, but eventually, once you listen to other teachers like Master YongHua's explanation, it's like night and day.
And then I remember Venerable Jinko mentioned that he saw Amitabha like maybe experienced 3 times. One of the incidents, he said Amitabha came and asked him, "Oh, are you ready to go? Do you have anything you can give up?" He said, "No, I'm ready to go anytime. Anytime."
Well, he might have changed his mind. It's not for sure until you get there, okay? And you can talk all you want.
But he never were able to attain Buddha recitation with all, even being a first or third stage arhat and reciting Amitabha the whole time.
I don't know. It's a special case.
Because you mentioned if we ever able to attain Buddha recitation samadhi, we would be able to get to Pure Land.
Theoretically, yes. But if you create offenses, maybe your offenses would be too heavy.
Thank you.
Unless you get help, it's not going to be resolved. It's 2 different things. When you enter the samadhi, you have the seeds for that to happen. But on the other hand, if you create offenses, okay, that will prevent people from going to the Pure Land, and the more people you obstruct from going to the Pure Land, that will offset the good karmas you're creating. No one is above it. No one. Okay? Yes, Catholic.
I never know the guy, but I'm just curious now. Did he went to the house?
What?
He went to the house then?
No. No, not at all. But he's not in the Pure Land. Yes, 8.
From Diego, can a third stage arhat go to the Pure Land, or they have to go to the heaven where they get enlightened after a long, long time?
They have to go see King Yama, who decides where they're going to go next. Q&A.
Thank you, Sư Phụ. Thưa Sư Phụ, the thing that I knew from Venerable Thịnh Không, that he taught people to chant Amitabha and do good deed. Maybe I don't know exactly beside that what else he taught. Is that wrong, Master? How is that it doesn't help him?
Well, I don't know. I don't know the extent of his teachings. And whatever he did, is what he did. And I'm only looking at the results. That's all.
Oh,
okay.
Thank you, Master.
I happen to disagree with a lot of the Pure Land teachings that he did give to his disciples. Okay, and this is what happens to the Pure Land teachers. They read books, and they imitate, and they took ideas from those books and things they read. So they read. So they don't necessarily understand what they're talking about. Okay. And I contrast you, for example, I want to bring your attention to the fact, for example, he taught a lot about Pure Land Buddhism. And at that level of samadhi, they would not understand how to teach it. You don't understand the Pure Land thing. So, for example, the Hinayana people would not teach Pure Land because they don't have such materials. Okay? The Tibetans are not specialists in Pure Land either. So when they teach Pure Land, you see all the Tibetan teachers, they're very, very scanty. Okay? And they quoted Chinese sources. Okay? But in Pure Land Buddhism, when Master Hsuan taught it, okay, it is so succinct, it's so concise that his own disciples didn't get it. But they never dare, at least the good ones, they never dare proclaim or try to teach Pure Land Buddhism. You look at my generation of monks there, okay? The senior ones, you look at the senior ones, they would not touch Pure Land Buddhism because they don't know enough. And that's what's supposed to happen. You don't know, because Pure Land Buddhism is a very, very difficult thing to teach. In Chan, it's fairly simple because you teach Chan and you teach people, help people enter Samadhi, you get results right away. Okay, so you see results. Okay, but in Pure Land Buddhism, you recite Buddha's name, and until you're blue in the face, and you still don't know what's going on. So Pure Land Buddhism is different from Chan in a sense. Pure Land Buddhism requires faith. If you have faith, we'll teach you. You don't have faith, it's okay. Yeah, good luck. Okay, and so that's why the materials are there, but it's not the way that these people interpret them. Very similarly, like the meditation teachers read the voluminous materials on Chan, and they regurgitate it. And when they do that, okay, they reveal their lack of understanding. Okay. Chan, same thing. There may be a lot of description of things we talk about, but actually, it's a lot more than we can tell you. So that's why these younger monks and sunims, they read a lot. They read a lot of Chan materials and they started teaching Chan, and they proclaim to be experts. In particular, lay people. There are a lot of lay people who are voracious readers. And they read the Chan materials, and then they would come to the temple and ask the Chan teachers about them, okay, and embarrass us because they know a lot more about Chan stuff, okay. And they did it to Xian Xin, they did to all my students, okay. And it's great because that's how I help train them. And they stop coming and ask me, because I look at them and say, you have no business asking about this because your level is too low. I'm going to explain to you. Okay? But in Pure Land Buddhism, it's even tougher because the materials are not as numerous, as available as in a Chan materials. Okay? And that's why a lot of Pure Land teachers, they don't know what they're teaching. And so, for example, this Buddha recitation samadhi, and you ask them, what is it? They really can't tell you what it is. Okay, yeah. And so that's why the people who, that's what I like about Master YongHua disciples, the good ones, the monks and nuns who are enlightened. They would not talk about Pure Land Buddhism. Only the ones who are not enlightened would try to talk about it, and they're speaking nonsense. Like some idiots who says, he read from somewhere, says, if you want to be reborn to the Pure Land, you read it anywhere in all the Pure Land materials, you have to observe the 5 precepts. It's in Chinese materials, okay? It's translated into Vietnamese, to Korean, whatever, it's everywhere, okay? And they would swear to it on their mother's grave. That's a fact, because it's from the patriarchs or whatever, from very reputable sources of teaching. But it turns out, I realize a lot of people we help go to the Pure Land are not even Buddhists, let alone keep the 5 precepts. Some of them are Catholics, some of them are agnostics, some of them are stoned to death. Okay? So that's why there are a lot of things that these people don't know. That's why kudos to Master YongHua disciples. They would not touch with a 10-foot pole because it's so much unknown. Okay, so let alone for anyone to stand up there and say, I'm an expert in Pure Land Buddhism, and have lots of followers throughout the world like Jing Kong. You're bound to mislead people. And that's very serious. Yes, 8.
From Tihui, how can you tell Master Jing Kong is not in Amitabha Pure Land when sentient beings reborn in that land resides in the lotus?
It's for me to know and for you to find out. Anyone else? Yes, 7.
If someone die, you can find relics. Does that guarantee that you'll be going to the Pure Land?
In theory, yes. If you have meet a certain condition, you go to the Pure Land. But there's always exceptions.
I understand that Jing Kong have relics.
Has what?
The relics of the relics.
The Hinayana monks have relics too. They're not in the Pure Land.
So it's not guaranteed?
Not guaranteed, sir. No.
What is...
relics are different, but going to Pure Land is an entirely different thing.
So what are the people that have the... when they die, it's so different. They have all these things.
Yeah. That's not uncommon. It's very common. Xian Liao was a mother who's a housewife, and who doesn't even cultivate. But when she died, they discovered she had relics. I don't know if we have photos of that. Yeah. She had relics. It's a housewife. She's not even a nun. Doesn't even meditate. So what's the big deal? Relics are something else. It has nothing to do with Pure Land. Okay? Anything else? But again, what do I know? Don't believe me. If you want to believe that he went to the Pure Land, good luck to you. Okay? I'm not here to prove anything. I'm just curious, that's all. And I happen to see, no wonder. Be careful. You do the wrong things. And so I started by telling you that it's so important for you to tell your children and so forth that there's this life after death. It matters. So be careful. Okay? And your best bet for you all of you, all of us, including myself, is to go to the Pure Land. And I personally would not do anything to jeopardize that. It's not worth it. No money in this world is worth it for me. You give me all the money in this world and make me emperor of the earth. Would be cool, huh? Rule over the Chinese, Russian, North Koreans. Why would you want to do that? Well, anyway, suppose it's the case. And at the price of not going to the Pure Land, I say, hell no. Okay, that's my personal opinion. Because easier said, since it's not going to happen, so it's easy for me to brag about it. But my point I'm trying to make is that nothing in this earth is worth more than going to the Pure Land, in my opinion. And that's the Buddhist knowledge that is so important. I hope that we continue to perpetuate that kind of knowledge, so that the Buddhist tradition of going to the temple and doing a 49-day thing there is very important. Okay, to plant the seeds for them to go to the Pure Land. Okay, or Lio's son who recites the Buddha's name during this Foqi week here. Okay, it's very important because it helps him plant the seeds to go to the Pure Land himself. Okay, and plant the seeds to learn about Chan and so forth. It's so important. Without those seeds, not much we can do. All right, can we go back to 255? Again, okay, it's just gossiping, okay? Don't take it seriously. If I open my big mouth and someone says, how do you know? I say, oh, I know. Like Master Shua would say, how come I know you don't? So, or I could be lying, you never know. So here back to 255, when the nature is in samadhi, the demons are subdued, okay? Again, that's what it says, but I gave you the details. It needs to be a certain level before it happens. But the Chinese, this is why it's so vague and confusing for those of you who read, when the nature is in samadhi, the demon is subdued. Not always. Okay? Not the kind of demons you have to deal with. Okay, and every morning is joyful. So it means that you are experiencing, you are constantly experiencing bliss. Le here is bliss, not joy. Blissful. Okay, and so that's what it means. So this is a clue for you. When you get there, you understand. You don't get there, it's not possible for me to explain what it is to you. But I'm challenging you that you practice, you eventually, I promise, praise the Lord, that eventually in the future, you will experience this. You will understand what it means. It's something to look forward to. In other words, okay? It's cool. Kong.
Hello, Master. I have a question. So when we say the Allah, the bliss, peace and bliss, sometimes in Chinese it says 선열, like Chan bliss. But then they translate this into English with the same word, but the Chinese character is different. Is it the same? 선열?
선열.
선열. 누가 아는 사람? 한국 사람. 열, 선열.
잔예. Yeah.
선열.
Is it
Let me-
禅悦? Are you talking about 禅悦?
Yeah, like it's different character. 열. Let me find it and send it to you by texting. Thank you.
Tanlat, yeah, 잔예, yeah, that's it. It's similar. Okay, but it's more on also when you're in bliss. Bliss has I don't know, okay, and this is not in any books because you asked, and why are there two different Chinese characters? It's for a reason, okay. If it's the same thing, it would be only one Chinese character called Le. But there's also Chan Yue in the lunch offering, one of the final praise before we walk down to the to eat is Chan Yue. Okay, so that is refers to yes, 3.
I think she might talking about 三昧.
No, Chan Yue.
Chan
Yue.
Oh, Chan Yue.
Chan Yue. In that final praise. Yeah. Anyway, so there are two different things because when you're in samadhi, you will experience bliss. However, there is bliss that you're in samadhi in stillness or samadhi in movement, meaning that you can, when you start the Chanqi next week, for example, you sit and you in samadhi, enter samadhi. So that what you experience is called le. Okay? Whereas when you walk, okay, or when you go down there and you eat and you talk and you gap away, okay, you can still enter samadhi. So this is what differentiates us from the Chinese style of training. The Chinese style, they go to the the dining hall, it's so quiet, you can hear a pin drop. It's the really true cultivators, if you will. So they eat and they would not make any sound, okay? Not even the slurping thing. It would be so crude if you're in a Chan temple, okay? Koreans, did you hear that? Okay, so anyway, but for us, I was making a comment today at lunch. I was talking to my student and said, "Why is it so loud here in the dining hall?" I hear Vietnamese, I heard Vietnamese, I heard English, I heard and so forth, and I couldn't even hear ourselves talking. Okay. So it's a different style of practice. There is a try to eat and enter samadhi there. What we try to do on the other hand, our style of practice is, I want you to experience the Chan Yue that the praise in a lunch offering. Okay, Chan Yue, where you can experience the bliss while in motion, while talking to people, while laughing. It's more multidimensional. Just think about it. New people come, they wonder, they have so many questions, and they don't have a whole lot of time. Because after eating, you have to go up and practice again. Okay, so We prefer to have you gap and gossip and so forth. Okay? Be real, be human, and enjoy the Chan Yue. Okay? So that's why the two different things. Le is when you're in stillness. Yue is when you're in motion. Okay? Yes, 4.
Master, what's the difference, samadhi and dhyana? They're the same?
Dhyana refers to the state of samadhi in the form realm. 1, 2, 3, 4. The first 4 is called dhyana. Okay? And then 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay? That's in the formless realm. That's called samadhi. We chose to differentiate them. For the Chinese, chan. For us, it's better to differentiate the dhyana from samadhi.
Yeah, that's 四禅八定.
Right.
Right. Thank you.
You're welcome. Anyone else? And so I think we're running out of time. So this is why when you practice, whatever practice you do, whether it's Hinayana, Theravada, or Catholic, or Sufi, whatever, okay, you have to, your practice, whatever it is, need to bring you to this samadhi thing, yoga and so forth. Okay, that's why the yogis are hooked on that, or the Tai Chi people are hooked on that. They go to these things and they enter samadhi in motion, in movement. Okay, and that's why they feel very happy, and that's what the attainment they have from such practices. So you need to go through that. Okay, and the caveat I'm telling you is that they're not teaching you is that as you improve, that bliss you experience will be greater and greater and greater. So that's why it's so interesting, so rewarding. Don't stop. Okay, that's why in our practices we try to help you. Pave the way for you to continue to improve. Whatever you have right now is nothing yet. It will get better and better and better and better. It's fascinating. You make more money, it's just, another number, another zero. But when you improve, it gets better. You feel better about yourself. And better and better and better. It's fascinating. Okay, and that's Mahayana. Don't stop. Continue to improve. And in order to improve, couple of things. Number 1, you should not be afraid to suffer. Okay. Okay, and number 2, you need to struggle. Okay, and you do that. It's very rewarding. All right. So when the nature in samadhi, the demons are kept in check, they're subdued. Okay, go ahead, Q&A.
Thank you, Master. I just want to share something regarding my experience. In the past, normally I would tell my husband, please make sure you bring the kid to the temple, hear the Dharma talk and all the stuff. And I asked him the same thing this week, but he didn't bring the kid for whatever reason. Normally, in the past, I would get so afflicted and would call and text him and give him the whole thing. But this time, I maintain very calm and actually text him and say thank you for supporting and give me a chance to be at the temple. So I see the difference in myself from these past few days of cultivating. Thank you, Master.
I'm glad, but try to explain to her husband that you know, that's so beneficial to you. See, that's a problem with cultivation. Something you experience yourself. You can't brag about it. You can't sell. You can't make money. You can't, sell more at all. It's a private thing. Okay, the bliss you experience is private. So every morning is blissful. Refers to the fact that you have this inner joy that's very, very private. Okay, and it's wonderful. Don't miss it. Okay? All right. Any questions? Let's see what's next. Okay. Okay. Let's finish 2 more slides so that we can move on to the next topic.
妄念不起，处处安。你心智念觉是真富贵。
When no false thoughts arise, everywhere is at peace. When the mind is still and all thoughts stop, it is truly rich and noble.
Can we hang on, back up. Okay, can we change it right then? Because this translation here, it's I don't think Xian Tong would approve. If no false thoughts arise, you're at peace everywhere. You are at peace everywhere. Okay. So, meaning what? When you're not thinking anymore. No false thought arises, meaning you're not thinking. So therefore, you're always at peace, wherever you are. Very simple. Okay. When you are not comfortable, you have these thoughts of fear because someone approaches you. The thought of fear arises. Okay. And that's why you're not at peace. But when you're in samadhi, no thought arises at all. So you're at peace. At all. Okay? Always. Everywhere you go, you're at peace. People insult you, you're at peace. Okay? Master Shiva thought if someone insults you, why don't you think of it as Japanese or German or something? That's a false thought. Okay? Don't do that. Okay? It's okay for babies, but not you. Okay? Not us. Okay? So, but when someone insults you and you're not affected at all, that means you have some samadhi power. That's what matters. It's a very private thing. You can't say, hey, mommy, look, mommy, I'm as cool as a cucumber. Okay? You can't tell anyone. You can't write home about it. Okay? So you're at peace. No matter what, everywhere. No matter what happens, you're at peace. It's earthquakes, okay? You're at peace. It shakes like crazy. Or a woman hits her head against the statue. You're at peace. It says, die. None of my business. You know what I mean? I have compassion for you, but that's later. Okay? And when the mind is still, when the mind stops, 心止, okay? 念觉, okay? When the mind stops and all thoughts come to an end. It's very precise the way the Chinese teach it. It's not, you cannot mess with the translation. It causes problems. Because the Chinese teaching is so judicious, it's so precise. When the mind stops and all thoughts come to an end. Because they're two different things. Okay? When the mind stops and all thoughts come to an end, it's two different, totally different things. Okay? You know why they're different? You don't, right? That's why I'm not going to explain to you, because I explained to you, the other Chan teacher will say, hey, you know what it means? They will say the same thing as I do. Okay? So I want you to know that they have different meanings, okay? And you should feel free to ask them. Some things I will not tell you because I don't want them to plagiarize, okay? Because too many monks and nuns do that. It's not good for Chan. Okay, our mind stops and all thoughts come to an end. It is truly, that is true. That is true. Fu. I'm hesitating to translate it as blessings or riches or wealth. The Chinese people, help me out. Keep yourself busy, Zheng Cheng. Contribute instead of moping. I don't like it here. It hurts so much.
The Fu itself is rich, but the word itself is rich. But I don't know, maybe should use
true wealth. Okay, let's do wealth. Okay, would that work for you, Chinese people? It's wealth. It's not rich. It's wealth. Okay, it's true wealth. It's true wealth and nobility. Okay? I want to, as I said, I want to explain to you when the mind stops and why would they add all thoughts come to an end. Because they're two different things. Okay? The Chinese patriarchs, teachers, never waste time, never waste words. Rest assured. When they use 禅乐 or 禅乐, it's different. Okay? They're not the same. I used to think it's the same until I look at some of you, they're different. Okay. It is true wealth and nobility. It means that your money, your assets right now, worldly assets, okay, is nothing compared to when you enter samadhi. That's when you generate wealth for yourself. This refers to the state of samadhi. Okay? When you enter samadhi, that is true wealth. You're generating a lot of wealth for yourself. A lot. So whether you recite the Buddha's name, whether you recite a mantra, or you recite the sutras, or you do the Huatou and so forth. When you enter samadhi, you're generating tremendous amount of wealth for yourself. Now you know that. You see why we keep on insisting to you, increase your samadhi? Because as your higher level samadhi, you generate even more wealth than before. And more, and more. Yes, 8.
From Diego, when the mind stops, it's low level, and thoughts stop arising, is higher level.
No. Yes.
From Cordelia, Master doesn't want to explain, but is mind stop like upper part of wave and all thoughts end equal to the subtle wave underneath?
No. I'm not saying. Anyone else? Conk. Thank you for waiting, Conk.
혜진 선생님 질문입니다. 생각이 없으면 편안함도 못 느끼는 거 아닌가요? 편안함도 일종의 생각 아닌가요?
When you say there's no thought, does that mean that you can't feel the comfortable either? Because if you don't have a thought, how can you feel the comfortable?
When you feel comfortable, is it a thought? The components of the egos are form, feeling, and thoughts, and thinking, right? So you see, thinking and feeling are two different things. In fact, feelings produces thoughts. I'm not going to tell you what produces feelings. Can't tell you everything. I'm going to charge you one of these days. Okay? So, true wealth. This is very important. This is what worldly people don't understand. Worldly people think that wealth is money, bank accounts. Okay? That's not true wealth. This is true wealth. Your samadhi is your true wealth. The Chinese never explain to their own kind. But we Westerners, we need to have more ideas on what they're talking about. Okay? The wealth for us, it's like Elon's shares in Tesla and so forth. Okay? No, that's not the true wealth. The true wealth refers to the wealth that you have that's not dependent upon your body, your bank account. We had to move bank because B of A, for some reason, decided to discriminate against me, a poor, lowly religious organization. Okay. Write to them, write to the senator, please. So I had to move bank accounts from B of A to Chase, which I hate. Okay, it's two different kind of banks. Okay, but anyway, they rejected me. Yeah. So you see, my point here is that the money in the bank is not the true wealth because it moves. Okay, it changes. Now in Korea, I'm told this morning at 1 in the morning, and then again at 2 in the morning. I don't know why my disciples feel entitled to text me at 1 in the morning and 2 in the morning to check to make sure I'm still awake or something. Luckily for me, I got up at 1. So they thought, wow, Master doesn't even rest at night at all. Spread the rumor. So anyway, so one it says something like some sort of weird news, and two it says dollar now used to be 1,100 wons, now it's 1,400 wons. It's like whoopee. Let's send money to Korea. But anyway, so the true wealth here doesn't depend on the bank. Doesn't depend on the denomination of money you have. Okay? It doesn't depend on your body. This true wealth here is what you have with you wherever you go, whatever you do. This is what you should be working for. Not, the little things like the greenbacks or the wands or, or the yuan or whatever, or the dong or whatever. Huh? Yes, back there.
Master, what is the difference between Nin Chue and Wu Nian?
What?
What is the difference between all the thoughts come to an end and no thought? Nin Chue and Wu Nian.
Depend on the context. See how clever I am? I have lots of answers already waiting for your questions. Yes, did you have a question? That's for him. Okay, thank you. Okay, so true wealth here refers to your cultivation right now. Every time you recite Buddha's name, you enter some sort of samadhi here. Okay? You are creating wealth for yourself, true wealth for yourself. Yes, you look poor and helpless, but you have true wealth. Because once you generate this kind of true wealth in the future, when conditions arise, it becomes trillions of dollars, billions of dollars. It helps you become an emperor of the earth and so forth. Does it make sense? Okay? Whatever you see physically is only a subset of your true wealth, in other words. I remember the three trips ago to Korea, I met with this famous Korean Sunim, and he looked at me and he says, I came to pay him a visit in Seoul. It's a way place in Seoul, big building with parking, lots of parking, a huge building. And he says, he looked at me and said, I bowed to him, as usual, when you go to the temple, you should bow to the abbot. That's the protocol. Okay, I bowed to him, and unlike the other monks, they would feel bad. This guy very happy. He said, "Oh wow, this guy, a monk from America, is bowing to me. Photos." and so we talk, and then he says, this temple here is my real temple is in Busan. It's a lot bigger. I said, wow, really? So the monk still doesn't understand the concept of true wealth. How can he be teaching Chan or Son? So true wealth is what you generate when you practice. And the link here, based on a Chinese teaching, this is where you should be grateful to them. And that's why this is my proof, is how I keep on insisting, develop your samadhi, get higher and higher, because the higher you get, the more wealth you generate for yourself. This is a proof. Okay? It's well worth it. All the trouble you're having. No, you don't. You can't write home about it. It doesn't show up in your bank balance. Okay, but you have your true wealth increases. Yes, 8.
From Zhihong, Master once said nowadays people could not be in samadhi for long due to lack of blessings. Now this verse talks about samadhi generating blessings. Both are true. How do I connect these two?
Different kinds. When you're in samadhi, you're generating a lot of wealth for yourself, a lot of assets for yourself. Okay, and how long you stay there also has a lot of factors, and one of which is whether you have the kinds of blessings to stay in samadhi so that you can generate more wealth. It's two different things. Does it make sense? Am I making sense? Okay. And next one, are we running over time now? Maybe we should stop. Sang-wook, it's up to you. Want to go back to Seoul? Yeah, nobility. It's telling you that you're not a commoner anymore. When you enter samadhi, you no longer are a commoner. Case in point, where we are right now, it doesn't matter you are the emperor of the earth, okay? You still are a commoner. When you enter samadhi, then you join the ranks of nobility. You rule over the commoners. That's what he's referring to. Is that clear? Nobility here is that you outrank them. So when you at this next, the first dhyana, okay, is considered nobility compared to where we are, commoners, okay, including everyone here is a commoner. Okay, compared to the first dhyana. Second dhyana is even higher. So the nobility increases as your skills improve, your samadhi increases. You're not the same. This is why in our world, we look at you differently. We don't look at you, we don't gauge you by the size of your purse or the thickness of your wallet. Okay, or the kind of cars you drive. You look at you, I look at you at your samadhi level. What level are you? Okay, what is your nobility level? Because that is observed. That is the fact. Excuse me, in the cosmos. Your samadhi level dictates your status throughout the universe. So you may have a lot of money. Elon may have a lot of money, but when you go to the boonies in Australia, when they don't have any money there, I'm told, okay, only. You want to eat, you better shoot down a kangaroo, okay? Something like that, okay? Then money doesn't matter at all. It doesn't matter how much money you have, you see? But that's the difference. Whereas the wealth here, nobility here, you go to the boonies over there, they still look at you differently. They still look at you as part of nobility. Okay? The status doesn't change. Next, I think that's the last slide.
When all selfish desires are cut off, that is the true blessing field. When human desires are all exhausted, then nature law can naturally flow and travel.
Okay, and that's the last slide, okay? Please bear with me. Okay, see. Then he moves on to the next topic. Okay, this is also very important. I'd like to share with you the Chinese wisdom, if you like. If you don't have any time left, we can end here and say, hey, let's leave the things to the Chinese. Changwu, you have time? Don't you have to go back to Korea? When when selfish desires are severed and exhausted, the Chinese is very precise. You don't mess with them. And when you translate this, they truncate a lot of things. This is why the translation, they mess it up. So that's why the knowledge to the pale faces are sort of like truncated as well, not complete. That is true, a true field of blessing. Field of blessing. Blessing field sounds weird. Field of blessings. Of blessings. Okay? When 那么你人欲尽尽了天理。So when your to translate human is kind of weird. Okay? When your desires when your desires are exhausted, okay? 天理自然就流行了。天理自然就流行了。Then the law of heavens, the law of heavens, of the heavens, 自然流行了。Then the law of heavens 流行。Chinese people, Zhu Hong, are you still awake? And the law of heavens naturally flow and travel, is not travel from flow. 流行了。Then the law of heavens apply, or are in effect.
Translated. Jane said, 流行 is better to be translated into prevail.
Yeah, so that's why I said, in effect. Prevail has a struggle. Okay? There's no struggle here. It's a fact. The laws of the heavens, there's an S there, laws of heavens are in effect. Yes, sir. Go ahead, Catholic, about law of heavens. 9.
I was downstairs when you said that that you guys look at the others people levels. Is that not part of discrimination in Buddhism?
I discriminate. What else is new? I call pale face, I call yellow face. Isn't that discrimination too? Guilty as charged. Happy? Oh, shame on you. When all selfish desires are severed and exhausted, okay, when you are able to separate yourself from desires, meaning that you have a desire, but you say, no, you can stop it. Okay? And exhausted, meaning that you have no more desire. So there are two different things. One, severed, meaning you have desire, like you have a family, and you lead a home life, so you sever family relationships. Okay? So there's connection there, you sever it. Whereas exhausted means no more. So there are two different things, okay? When you have no more selfish desires, when you have no more desires to benefit yourself, that's what it means. Then you are a true field blessings. This refers to when you help others and you help without any selfish motives, then you are true field blessings. Okay, this is applicable primarily to the Sangha or the clergies. Okay, we strive ourselves to sever our selfish desires so that we can maximize your blessings. It's a standard, okay, of pursuit. And we become monks and nuns in order to be the best field blessings possible for you. And for that, in order for that to happen, we cannot do this and secretly pursue selfish gains. Okay? So this is a reminder. And when your desires are exhausted, then the laws of the heavens are in effect. When you have no more desires, okay, then practically, then you belong to the heavens. And you are able to reap the heavenly blessings while you're still here. So even though you're here in the desire realm, but your blessings are at the level of the heavens. Does it make sense? Even though you're here, it look ordinary, but your rewards and your work is actually at the levels of the laws of the heavens. Questions, comments? Still awake? Okay. Okay, we stop here tonight. Thank you all for your patience. Oh, we still have a great transference?